PlayStation's 30th anniversary is on December 3rd, and to celebrate that, they released an entire limited edition set of their current hardware lineup, from controllers with both the DualSense and the Edge, as well as a 30th anniversary version of the PlayStation Portal, which is themed after the PS1. They also released both of their current console offerings, in the digital PS5, which comes in this cool PS1 themed box, but an even more limited PS5 Pro, which is limited to just 12,300 units globally. Through no small amount of effort and expenditure on my part, I managed to get my hands on every single one, not to mention not insubstantial amount of luck. So today, I'm going to unbox this incredibly limited PS5 Pro with you, as well as take you through the finer details of all of these limited edition products, since I know they were pretty hard to get your hands on. So why don't we just get started and take a look? All right, so I'm gonna put the gloves on for this one because I really don't want to mark or fingerprint any of the stuff that's in here. It is going into use. This is going to be my primary PS5 that I use for the foreseeable future, just as I did with the PS4 20th anniversary edition. And I did check the box because when it arrived today, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to open not a PS5. So let's go ahead and lift this cover off. It comes in a white paper sleeve, but I just opted to remove that so you wouldn't see me fumbling with it on camera. And there we have it. Look at that. Right front and center, you've got the PS5 Pro in the beautiful PS1 gray colorway. This one specifically is marked number 11,272 out of 12,300. It's might be hard to pick up on camera, but even the fins and like the middle are that classic PS1 gray. It's got, you know, everything else that a PS5 Pro would have. There's nothing special here, save for the rainbow PlayStation logo that matches the, you know, classic PS1 logo design. But other than that, it is basically just a standard PS5 console. On the PS4, they had like a metal plate that was engraved. They just put the engraving on the fins on this one. And on the front of this box, you just have illustrations of every PlayStation console, as well as the controllers for it. So you've got PS1 and the original launch model controller, PS2 and the DualShock, PS3 and the 6-axis, which nobody remembers anymore, PS4 and the DualShock 4, and then you've got PS5 and the standard DualSense. And it's got kind of a cool, it's hard to see on camera again, but on the top and on the bottom of this box, there is a PlayStation 30th anniversary pattern. It's just the standard PlayStation symbols, but between the square and circle, you have a 3 to denote that it's 30. Very cool little details on this box. And just lifting it open, we are greeted with a huge poster, it seems. Inside, there's like a 30th anniversary kind of plastic cover for the poster itself. On the other side of the poster, there is this really cool illustration of the PS1 and the 30th anniversary PS5, not the Pro, oddly enough, together, which is a really cool poster to get. I like that. After we get under that poster, which apparently there's a ton of limited designs, I got the PS1 and PS5 Pro with the PlayStation hardware logo. I think it's pretty cool. Now we're getting into controllers. So even though I have some, the PlayStation 5 Pro limited edition comes with a DualSense Edge in a classic PlayStation case. Inside it, there is, you know, just a DualSense Edge, the way you would expect it to be, although it is all kitted out in original PlayStation gray. This is the same one you would buy off the shelf at a store if you were able to order this. Unlike the 20th anniversary, on the 20th anniversary PS4 console, the touchpad on the DualSense, or the DualShock included in that, had some additional details that wasn't available in the retail model. I do see a 30th anniversary etching on the touchpad here, but I'm not sure if that's on the retail kit. We'll compare it when we open that up later in the video. That would be really cool though if there was like a special variant that came just with this, but I don't think so. I think that the controller is exactly the same. Other than that, you have the standard additions, the analog stick replacements, some paddles you can attach, a USB-C cable lock, as well as a USB-C cable. And I want to check that real quick because I know that the 30th anniversary consoles come with a special 30th anniversary USB-C cable. Not just the clip that you've probably seen all over the internet, but the cables themselves are actually etched with the 30th anniversary logo. Though this cable is a sleeved gray, not the black that you get with the traditional DualSense, it is not a 30th anniversary special edition cable. It doesn't have any of the 30th anniversary markings on the actual cable terminals. Which is true for the ones included with the consoles as far as I know. Next up, we have the included standard PlayStation DualSense. This is, again, likely what you would find in retail. I don't see any special etching on the touchpad or anything like that. This seems... I've held the original, the retail version of the 30th anniversary controller. My wife has one, and so I can tell you that this is definitely the same one you'd get if you ordered it from any other place, Target, GameStop. These are available in lots of places, though they are sold out all over. Now, this is one of the accessories that I'm most excited about getting this PS5 Pro for. It makes no sense that I'm excited about this specifically, but it makes no sense also because this is the one thing that is in this kit aside from the console itself that is not sold anywhere else outside of this bundle. This is the controller charger for the PS5 30th anniversary edition. As far as I know, Sony did not produce this for any other means, but it is a classic PlayStation gray with the rainbow logo. And if you know me, you know that I have like 5 of these around my house in the standard colorway. So it's really nice to have one that matches the console itself so closely and so nicely. It's just gorgeous. I don't know why Sony didn't make these. I would have replaced all of my white ones with this. Here we have just your literature box. Inside, there's just information on the vertical stand, you know, the standard stuff. The only difference here is that this comes with a gray manual as opposed to the white one that comes with the other PlayStation consoles. We also have a cable box. And inside here should be some of those 30th anniversary cables that I mentioned. Of course, the power cord is just the standard one you get with every other Sony console. The HDMI is also nothing special. It's just the standard one you get. There's a second power cord included for that charger that I showed you earlier. And here's what I was talking about. This is a 30th anniversary USB cable for the PS5. This one has the PlayStation 30th anniversary logo, so the PlayStation symbols with the 3 added to make the 30 in there. And then on top of that, you have just a power adapter, and you have the hilarious PlayStation feet, which are just feet for your PlayStation. Though I wouldn't really suspect anyone that bought this bundle is going to use these for reasons I'm going to reveal in just a second. And here we have a box that doesn't come with other PlayStations. This one is a gift box. It includes a handful of items. Some of these are very, very cool, but you'll see we've got this little 30th anniversary brochure here. You have some PlayStation stickers. This one is the rainbow PlayStation logo. This one is just a clear PlayStation logo. And then you have one of my favorite additions to this bundle. It is the cable ties that come with the PS5 Pro. These are meant for just wrapping up your cords, but they're all PlayStation symbol cable ties in the classic PlayStation symbol colors. In addition to that, though, you have what is inarguably, to me, the absolute coolest cable accessory you could get. This is a clip for the USB-C cable included with the PS5 that allows you to make it look like a PS1 controller connector, so that when you plug in an accessory to your PS5 or PS5 Pro, it looks like you're plugging in an OG PlayStation controller. Again, it's one of those things that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't know why Sony opted not to sell those. I would have bought them by the dozens. It is so cool. We're getting close to the end here. This is for those of you that want to go the full Monty and have a disc reading PlayStation 5 Pro 30th anniversary edition. They included the PlayStation Gray cover for this. And one thing that I don't think a lot of people have shown off is that the inside of this actually has a 30th anniversary marking. There's a huge number 30 inside for those of you that are in the know. As for me, I will absolutely be adding a disc drive to this Pro. I don't think I can have a retro themed PlayStation console that can't read discs, so I will be adding a drive and putting this onto the side as soon as I'm able to get my hands on that. It's the one thing that is not included in this bundle. Though considering the fact that Sony did bundle in a DualSense Edge and a charger in addition to a regular controller, I can see why they might have done that. This retails for $1,000 already, and I'm sure they were struggling to keep costs down on the bundle itself. But yeah, this will be going on, and for those of you, now you know that there is a little special edition marking inside. And finally, the one thing the PS5 Pro got ridiculed for at launch is corrected in this bundle. Sony has opted to include a PS5 30th anniversary themed stand for the console as well. This is the same as the metal stand that you can buy for $30 separately, anywhere for the existing consoles. This works on both the original PS5 model, the Slim, and the Pro, but this one is PS1 themed, insofar as this is gray instead of black. This is a PlayStation gray, and the metal is actually a gray metal as opposed to the kind of shiny reflective metal that is on a standard PS5 stand. I'll throw a comparison up on screen so you guys can see the difference, but I really like this one a lot more, especially when paired with this console, but I would put this on all of them. I think it's just a better look than the shiny one that comes with the other models, especially considering the PS5 Pro itself doesn't have any reflective surfaces. So that's the PS5 Pro bundle. You get a lot for what Sony was charging, between the DualSense Edge. It included second DualSense, which they don't do on any of their other bundles, as well as just an extremely limited console. Just 12,300 of these were made worldwide, so I'm really happy to have one of them, and I hope I was able to give you a glimpse into what that looks like if you're able to get one on your shelf. But let's go ahead and explore the rest of the 30th anniversary lineup. All right, so as you can see, I've got both the anniversary edition of the PS5 Pro and the standard digital PS5 here. I'm not going to go through a full unboxing setup of this one because it is very similar to the PS5 Pro's contents. The only thing that is missing here is you don't get that really cool controller charger and you don't get a DualSense Edge. Other than that, everything is pretty much the same. It actually comes with the vertical stand, that same kind of gunmetal gray vertical stand that came with this 30th anniversary Pro. It includes all the other cool stuff, the cable ties, that really cool USB-C cable with the PlayStation 1 themed clip that I mentioned earlier. But one thing that's interesting to note is that these cover plates are not interchangeable. So if I wanted to, say, put these on a standard PS5 Pro, because this console is much easier to find, they don't work. For whatever reason, Sony decided to add additional clips on the inside of the PS5 Pro that make these cover plates not compatible. Both of these have this kind of cool gray finish on the inner plastic, that shiny plastic that is different than what's on the PS5 Pro you might have in your living room right now. Those are black, where this is kind of like a dark gray. It's a very noticeable difference in person. It might not come through quite the same on camera, but the one distinct advantage that this PS5 has over its Pro brother is that, frankly, its box is way cooler. This one comes in a PS1 themed box, which looks just like the original packaging that Sony launched the PlayStation 1 with back in 1994. Whereas, as you saw earlier, this is a very bespoke 30th anniversary box. And I do kind of wish that Sony would have leaned into the PS1 branding for that box a bit more, given how beautiful the console inside is and how much it pays homage to their original offering. Other than that, the only other notable difference is that the PS5 Pro does have a 30th anniversary etching right in the lower corner of it that, for whatever reason, the standard PS5 does not. But other than that, aesthetically, they're both beautiful consoles, and this one is ultimately going to be much easier to get your hands on. Rounding out console-type offerings, we have the PlayStation Portal 30th Anniversary Edition, and I gotta admit, I wasn't initially planning on getting this, but once I saw it, I realized I needed it. It is such a cool-looking piece of kit, and PlayStation recently released an update that allows this to play cloud games if you have PlayStation Plus. I believe it's Premium, which allows you to just stream without having to own a PS5, which for me significantly increases my ability to recommend it to others, because I love using remote play. I always have, and this is a great device for that. But if you're not in that camp like I am, now you have another reason to do it. Being able to play PS5 games without a PS5 is a game changer for this device, and it makes me wonder what other plans Sony has in the future for it. But I have to say, one of the things that has kept me from using it so far is this absolutely dope screen protector they've put on it. It kills me that this is on here because I do not ever want to peel it off, but I know I'm going to have to. So I'm going to try to find a way to save it because I've already seen people boot this up, and I know that it boots up with the standard white PlayStation logo once you get this cool screen protector off of it. But it comes in the same gray colorway as the DualSense. It's got a cool PlayStation 1 themed home button there in the rainbow logo. But other than that, it is just the PlayStation Portal that you probably have your own opinion on, but that I know and love. And I can't imagine a cooler portable device than this. This is really cool that Sony took a device that is the newest member of the PlayStation family and made it look like it's been around for the last 30 years. If you can get your hands on this, I highly recommend it. And finally, we're down to controllers. We've got the standard 30th anniversary DualSense, which I showed off earlier. This is not the one that came in my PS5 Pro box. This is a retail unit, and there's not a whole lot to say about it outside. You've seen the colorway. It's beautiful. It's got the PlayStation logo. One thing I neglected to mention is that all of the control devices, PlayStation Portal included, for the 30th anniversary have this PlayStation 30th anniversary marking on the back. I think that that's really cool, but I did have one question. I've got in my left hand a retail DualSense Edge, and I've got in my right hand the DualSense Edge that came with the 30th anniversary console. The PlayStation 4 20th anniversary included a version of the controller that is not available anywhere else. I'm wondering if Sony did the same for this, though I will be honest, I kind of doubt it. On this one, in the right, earlier in the video, I showed off that it has a 30th anniversary etching on the trackpad. And if I'm being real, I kind of expect the same to be present on the retail unit, but I've not checked. Let's take a look inside. So far, they seem identical. Both of them have it. And sure enough, the same etching is on the trackpad. So Sony didn't go back to the well and reimagine one version of the controller or one version of the trackpad specifically for people who bought the 30th anniversary console. I honestly think that's a good thing. I don't think there should be versions that are that rare of anything. I would prefer that the 30th anniversary Pro and the whole 30th anniversary lineup were free for everybody to get whenever they want, wherever they want. I understand the lure of limited edition items. Certainly I fell for it this time, and I will fall for it in the future. But I want to know what you think. Did you pick up any of these? I know a lot of members of the GVG community picked up the controllers at least. I know one member got the Pro, so I'm curious if you picked these up. Did you grab them, and what do you think of them now that you have them? And if you didn't, hopefully this video gave you the opportunity to see some of these limited edition items that I know are really hard to come by. But thank you all so much for watching. If you want to support us, you can head over to patreon.com/gvgaming to find out how. But with all that said, we'll see you next time. Until then, bye.